Come on now, don't be shy. Show up right, orderly style. Exclusive vibes all the while. Reactions heavy with a smile. Stay ready mile after mile. Bring consciousness around. If you're really down, help you touch the ground. We're making that sound. Pop culture flowing free. Thunder beats come to see. Compassion, feel the key. Cultivate to God agree. Ready for what's going down. Steady, strong in every town. Always carry that crown. Lift up, don't let it drown.
I just take my main shit. I ain't coming home tonight, no. Hey, listen, with the Bombay.
Let's hit it.
There's offices right now today that contain thimerosal that are being given to children.
Oh, shoot. That ain't the scene I wanted. Let me do a regular scene. Hold on. My fault, y'all. Boop. There we go. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to the show. It is Cultivate with Kai back with another one. Here, see, it looks like another one. Yes, it is. It is Cultivate with Kai back with another video here to cultivate clarity on all things unadulterated, trending, uncensored, and unfiltered. Y'all already know it's been a lot of talk about this subject, and I think that we should just dive into it. We should give it some light. it is such a sensitive subject in this moment in time in the world, and I think it'll be a great subject and a great theme on tonight. I know it's not a little piece of messy like the BTS like to get into every now and again, but this is a subject that affects a lot of people um, in the Black and Brown community and within the uh, within any community that you're in. You know, we're just gonna say it like that because it's not about race at this moment in time. Because this ASD, autism spectrum disorder, affects everyone, and it has no color, no race, no creed, none of that, none of that. So y'all get on in here, like, comment, and subscribe because we got to do our best to each one and teach one. I am no scientist, I am no doctor, but we are researching. We are here to break our ideas down, break them to, bring them together, excuse me, and just to cultivate a little clarity on them. So y'all ask me questions, I ask y'all questions, and we just get to the bottom of it. Um, um, Autism has been on the rise in these recent years. Um, I was doing a little bit of research on the autism spectrum disorder, and it affects quite a lot of communities, quite a lot of communities. And we're going to be looking at some statistics, some data charts on today. Yes, we are. Wait a minute. Before we get on into that, how was y'all day today? How are y'all feeling? Welcome in. I will welcome in. I hope y'all are feeling good. I just want y'all to feel welcomed and appreciated as y'all come in here. To my members, to all my people who just been supporting me through thick and thin, I appreciate y'all. Y'all don't have to do it, but y'all do, and it's greatly appreciated. Um, you guys just don't know. Hey, Jella, wait a minute. Because Jella always in the building supporting me. Illy Ill always in the building supporting me. What's good with y'all? What's good? What's good? Hey, what up, Electro? How you? Shout out to Electro. Y'all go over there and check out Electro. What up, Bob? How do people call? Oh, Bob, you on that shit. I don't put 5 on it and I'll answer it. Yeah, welcome, Shanta. Welcome. Because it ain't about that. It ain't about that in this moment. It ain't about that. Excuse me. But back. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me, y'all. Let me ooh, I needed some water. Excuse me. What up, Ross? Shout out to you. Thank you. But according to Centers for the CDC, 1 in 31 children in the U.S. are diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. Did y'all know that? And that's from ages 8, um, starting from age 8 years old. And did y'all know that? I didn't know that. I didn't know that today. And and I'm not speaking on autism from an insensitive place. Let me make the disclaimer early on because I love all people and I think that we should value and appreciate people's imperfections and their differences because we all have them and that's what makes us unique. And I definitely think we should do that. People often say, oh, God doesn't make any mistakes. Why does he make individuals like that? So we could learn to appreciate the presence of those people because you wouldn't, for those who don't know, autism is a neurological I don't want to say it's a disorder. That's what it is. Excuse me. It's a neurological disorder, and it affects a lot of people in these recent years. And a lot of people say, "Hey, Autism. I didn't see autism back in my day or back in the day, you know what I'm saying? And maybe it didn't have a name for that, but I do know that looking at data charts, it was an influx of autism. It was. It has. You know, um, let me pull one up, and then we're gonna get into the President POTUS and his speech about the whole situation. And I'm going to give my unpopular opinion. And I really am. I'm going to give my unpopular opinion because it's been a lot. It's been a lot. It's been a lot of things been thrown at us between vaccines are the cause and Tylenol being the cause, or being induced by those different things and charged by um, acetaminophen. I believe, if I'm not saying that right. And when I want to look at the first in the last, let's look at the last 50 years. Yeah, but wait a minute. When was the first case of autism? First case of autism. 1943. The first documented case of autism is generally attributed to Donald Triplett, and this was in 1943. Let's take a look. Trigger warning, trigger warning. Hey, welcome, welcome, Kenyatta, welcome. Welcome all, welcome all. Appreciate you for being here. And this is where I'm getting this from. Right here it says the first documented case of autism is generally attributed to Donald Triplett, who was diagnosed in 1943 by psychiatrist Leo Kanner. Kanner described Triplett's symptoms included social withdrawal, repetitive behaviors, and language difficulties, and a landmark paper that established autism as a distinct condition. It's important to note that there may have been early cases of autism that were not documented or recognized as such. Additionally, the term autism was not used until the early 20th century. And yeah, this is true because they didn't have the language and the words for it. And it's been a lot of cases on what autism is caused by, and they said that autism was caused is genetic and all of this stuff. That's what they originally said it was. And personally, I think it's induced by a lot of different things, and it may be that, you know, the genetic. But personally, I do think that it is charged by different vaccines, because then again, babies are shot with vaccines like within the first 5 hours. Forget 5 hours, first hour of a baby's life. You know what I'm saying? And it is very triggering and alarming. And I think a lot of people are denouncing that in recent years because people all over are waking up to the information of today. It is not good to vaccinate these children so early, these babies so or early on. Really? Come on up and sound off on that. I would love to hear your point of view on that, Bo, because this is an open discussion, open panel. Um, and this whole thing with autism is near and dear to my heart because I have individuals in my family who have autism. And I don't want to say they suffer because then again, our differences, we value, excuse me, our differences. I don't never want to stigmatize anybody. No, that's what I'm not doing at all in any way, any shape, any form, any fashion. Because humanity is humanity. And once again, we need to value everyone's imperfections. What I think they're personally, we do. but you don't have to. That's maybe asking a little bit too much from the people. But let's look at this chart right here. It says California DDS consumers with autism 1989 to April 2024. Look at this. Look at this. My goodness. Look at this chart. Years of caseload count 1989 to 2023. And look at this influx. It is an epidemic. It is, if you ask me. This is a whole epidemic. When no one in the field seriously disputes these numbers a bit, when it comes to the question of autism trends over the past several decades, it is undisputed that the prevalence of diagnosed cases has grown dramatically, and the range of 0.1% to 0.5% for children born in the 50s to about 3% for children born more recently, at least industrialized countries like the US, the UK, South Korea, and Japan. Now, this is a good question because people might say that more Amish communities and indigenous communities, they don't have the influx of profound autism the way that we have in the United States. Yes, I did. I said the United States. Yes, I did. Because it's like, why do, let me look, what is the rates of, well, we know the rates are disproportionate. Excuse me. Hey man, welcome to the conversation. Hey man, how you doing? But thank you, Danielle Price. Danielle says, excuse me, mother. Oh, Lord, they cussing in the chat, but I'll allow it this one again because that's for real, for real. This is a real situation that is wrecking communities, and it is really hurting individuals. Just to see the stunt of growth in a person that you know that should be hitting different percentiles. Um, it does hurt. It does hurt, especially parents. So I don't think that it would be appropriate to say it's a hoax. And going back to Danielle Price, she said, "Nah, it's not a hoax. It's genetic and it's different neurological hardwiring. That's it. Not a disease or illness, and it is not caused by goddamn Tylenol." Yeah, yeah. Get it, Danielle. I love you. I love how you chimed in on that. We're allowing everyone's point of view. Danielle, if you would like to come on up, you could come on up and enlighten me because I'm still green to certain intricacies regarding autism. Um, oh, you think so, Bo? You think so? Donald doesn't know shit about autism. Kennedy doesn't know shit about autism. They're lying out of their asses. It's not an epidemic. Epidemic implies disease, which autism is not. Stop that stick. Stop the stigma. When I think of epidemic, I think of a widespread, a recurring thing that is not so much plaguing, because I don't want to look at it as a plague. Then again, we are valuing and we are loving on, and we are not trying to downplay someone's imperfections, because no, we're not doing that, or someone's differences. We're not doing that over here. So it's very hard. Some people don't have the words to say, but they're trying. I met a mute person and they call him autistic. Well, it falls. You listen. Listen. Bo, I'm not sure about that, but okay. Wrecking communities. Now I see language like this. Danielle, when I say wrecking communities, it is putting a strain. It is hurting a lot of parents to see that some of their children not reach certain milestones. Does that make sense? Some of these people who have, some of these parents who are taking care of their children who have profound autism, are they have to deal with a lot. Their children hitting them. So I hate to use words that are inappropriate or hurting you, Danielle. That's not my intention. So let me switch that up. Okay, Danielle? I wanna change that up. I'm gonna change that up. You know what I'm saying? Because just to look at the strain that a lot of parents go through, although that's their child and they have that's their responsibility and obligation. I'm just saying it is something different. It's something very different. And that's all. That's it, and that's all. So we're gonna look at what do we want to look at what Trump said? Y'all did y'all see what Trump said? Because a lot of people, I don't want to get y'all triggered in the chat. Let me look at the textbook definition of what is autism spectrum disorder. It is okay. It's a complex neurological and developmental disorder. Okay. Autism affects. Okay, we're gonna share this right here. And we're looking at Special Olympics, Missouri. What is autism? Autism spectrum disorder is a complex neurological developmental disorder that affects how a person acts, communicates, learns, and interacts with others. ASD affects the structure and function of the brain and nervous system. Because it affects a child's development, ASD is called a developmental disorder. ASD can last throughout a person's life. People with this disorder have problems with communication, interaction with other people, social skills, restricted interests, and repetitive behaviors. Different people with autism can have different symptoms because it is a spectrum, right? A group of disorders with a range of similar features, and it's never the same with one specific individual. Because I'm gonna let y'all in on a little secret. My nephew has autism, and a lot of things we are learning with him, and I love it. But it's a learning process every day, and it's something that they do. A lot of autistic individuals do. They STEM. This is a way of them processing their emotions and all of that. They process themselves when they STEM. You know what I'm saying? Danielle, do you have any individuals in your family? Do anybody out there, not just to single out Danielle, do anybody out there have family members who have autism? Let me know in the chat. Oh, that's a good thing, Universal T. She said, I'm watching my granddaughter very close, but she talks so good. Of course, I know that's not the only symptom. Right. I'm already up to speed on autism. I know my shit regarding the matter, what it's like, the ups and downs, the struggles, etc. from experience, which is why Donald lying pisses me off greatly. Okay, let me ask you this. Because some parents are saying that they believe that the vaccine induced their autism, or their child got the autism. Daniel, oh, excuse me. I'm sorry, Daniel. I'm sorry. I'm multitasking. I was looking somewhere else. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Well, thank you, Daniel, for being in here. Appreciate you. But shout out to Melly Mel, shout out to Universal T, and shout out to all the mods, and shout out to everybody. Oh wow, really? Yes, Asperger's autism. Okay. Okay, we're gonna look at what Donald had to say. Let's look at what Donald had to say on vaccines, and I'm sure a lot of people are upset about what Donald had to say about the whole situation. But I think it was telling. Let's take a quick little look. Little.
People settle for less because they
Which started with sound science, the kind.
Your body doesn't heal in 24 hours, so is Nudia rushing the process? What makes it different from the traditional process? Or
After we listen to Donald, because he sparked the debate,
I think we've made
I'm not gonna lie, a lot of parents have been saying for a very long time, you don't think there's heavy metals in the vaccines? And please, can you refrain from using cuss words or misspell them, please? Vaccines don't have anything to do with autism. That got debunked. The whole myth got started by a doctor named Wakefield. He got caught being bought off by a competing vaccine company. Well, how would that favor him? How would that favor him? Because that is deterring people from getting a vaccine. You know what I'm saying? But okay.
A lot of strides. Wish it was done a long time ago. Today we're delighted to be joined by America's top medical and public health professionals as we announce historic steps to confront the crisis of autism. Horrible, horrible crisis. I want to thank the man who brought this issue to the forefront of American politics along with me. And we actually met in my office, is it like 20 years ago, Bobby? It's probably 20 years ago in New York. I was a developer, as you probably heard, and I always had very strong feelings about autism and how it happened and where it came from. And he and I don't know, the word got out, and I wouldn't say that people were very understanding of where we were, but it's turning out that we understood a lot more than a lot of people who studied it, we think. And I say we think because I don't think they were really letting the public know what they knew. Thanks as well to the director of the National Institute of Health, Dr. Jay Bhattacharya, FDA Commissioner Dr. Marty McCary. These are great people. Administrator of the Centers for Medicine and Medicaid Services, Dr. Mehmet Oz, and Acting Assistant Secretary of HHS, Dr. Dorothy Finch. So thank you all. Thank you, Dorothy, very much. The meteoric rise in autism is among the most alarming public health developments in history. There's never been anything like this. Just a few decades ago, 1 in 10,000 children had autism. So that's not a long time. And I've always heard, they say a few, but I think it's a lot less time than that. It used to be 1 in 20,000, then 1 in 10,000. And I would say that's probably 18 years ago. And now it's 1 in 31. But in some areas, it's much worse than that, if you can believe it. 1 in 31. And I gave numbers yesterday for boys.
I never said that it never used to be autism. I never said it used to be autism. They never called it that. It was different names for it back then. Just like we see it was a widespread and spectrum of this whole situation. Universal T. Because we got to get clarity just a little bit on what he is saying, where it's coming from, what's where it's contributing from, and all that good stuff. We ain't gonna be here too long. I'm gonna play like 5 more minutes of it, and then I'm gonna get out of it. But Daniel says vaccine. Okay, we read that one. I think that if it's the vaccines, it will have to be the newer ones because autism wasn't around back in the day. Oh, she's replying to that. Well, I'm gonna play a video that more vaccines that they are giving to these children is the reason why. That's the thing. It was called the damn. I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna play the video. Actually, let's get straight to it. Excuse me. I thought my mic was off though a few moments ago when I was over there trying to clear my throat. Let me clear my throat. Excuse me. That sounds like a brother.
I was told that's in California where they have for some reason, a more severe problem. But whether it's 1 in 12 or 1 in 31, can you imagine? That's down from 1 in 20,000 and 1 in 10,000. And now we're at the level of 1 in 12 in some cases for boys. 1 in 31 overall. So since 2000, autism rates have surged by much more than 400%. Instead of attacking those who ask questions, everyone should be grateful for those who are trying to get the answers to this complex situation. And the first day all of these great doctors behind me were there, I told them, this is what we have to find out. Because when you go from 20,000 to 10,000 and then you go to 12, you know there's something artificial. They're taking something. And by the way, I think I can say that there are certain groups of people that don't take vaccines and don't take any pills that have no autism. That have no autism. Does that tell you something? That's currently, is that a correct statement, by the way?
There are some studies that suggest that, yeah, with the Amish, for example.
The Amish, yeah, virtually. I heard none. See, Bobby wants to be very careful with what he says, and he should, but I'm not so careful with what I say. But you have certain groups, the Amish as an example, they have essentially no autism.
We have got to the point where literally anybody can build a fully working app without knowing how to code. This is Base 44. This is a first look at the current industry-leading AI app.
First, effective immediately, the FDA will be notifying physicians that the use of let's see how we say that. Acetaminophen. Is that okay? Which is basically commonly known as Tylenol. During pregnancy can be associated with a very increased risk of autism.
Okay, let's look at this right here. He says this. Now, this is Harvard. It says using acetaminophen during pregnancy may increase children's autism and ADHD risk. When children are exposed to acetaminophen, also known by the brand name Tylenol or paracetamol during pregnancy, they may be more likely to develop neurodevelopmental disorder, including autism and ADHD, according to a new study. The study was published August 14th. Researchers analyzed results from 46 previous studies worldwide that investigated the potential link between prenatal acetaminophen use and subsequent NDDs in children. The researchers used a navigation guide, systematic review methodology, a gold standard framework for synthesizing and evaluating environmental health data, which enabled them to conduct a rigorous, comprehensive analysis that supported evidence of an associated between acetaminophen exposure during pregnancy and increased incidence of NDDs. The researchers, they said now it's not good to take. Now, let's get into some of the people who their firsthand accounts on giving their children vaccines and the reaction to it. And the mothers and parents actually said, let's take a look at this video that I had queued up. Let's take a look at this. This is for Danielle Price. Might want to look into that. Harvard study was from a guy that did a flip-flop. Listen, I'm not into conspiracy theories, okay? I'm jealous. We're going with the facts. Listen to the facts.
Offices right now today that contain thimerosal that are being given to children?
I don't believe so, no. As I mentioned, all vaccines for the routine recommended childhood immunization series started 2001, have been manufactured either thimerosal-free or with markedly reduced amounts of thimerosal. Now, that's just the vaccines that are in the routinely recommended childhood immunization schedule. As I had mentioned, influenza vaccines, which are not part of that routinely recommended schedule, but were encouraged to be administered by the ACIP, although they're not yet part of the routine schedule, those are now available in a thimerosal trace formulation for both Evans vaccines and Aventis Pasteur vaccines. As I mentioned, Wyeth announced its intentions not to manufacture an influenza vaccine after this year, but the other two do offer this trace thimerosal presentation.
But they still have thimerosal in them.
Yes, they still also have multi-dose vials that do contain.
Why don't they go to single-dose vials?
I know that they are considering the feasibility of.
Why don't you tell them to do that?
We consider these vaccines, which also contain thimerosal as a preservative, to be safe and effective. However, we do consider that it's important to have vaccines.
Did you hear any of the testimony earlier from those people that were testifying, those scientists and doctors?
Yes, I did.
Did you see the study from Canada there that showed the damage it's done when a very minute amount of mercury is put in proximity to brain cells?
I think it's hard to extrapolate that data to what actually happens in the clinical situation.
Well, every study that's been done, doctor, that you guys have put forth as showing that there's no correlation between thimerosal and autism doesn't say categorically that thimerosal doesn't cause autism. They never say that. Can you tell me right now, categorically, without any doubt whatsoever, that mercury in vaccines does not cause autism?
I think what I'd have to say is what the Institute of Medicine concluded is that the body of evidence neither allows you to accept
I want you to give
nor
me
reject
I want you to give me a yes or no.
relationship.
Can you tell me, can you say right now, just flat out, just say, can you tell me without any doubt whatsoever that the mercury in vaccines does not cause neurological problems or autism?
We can neither accept nor reject a causal relationship.
So what you're saying is you cannot tell me that. You cannot say categorically, can you?
We don't know one way or the other. But
so why are you keeping something in there if you don't know one way or the other? When you know that there's an epidemic of autism. If there's an epidemic of something, why do you keep it in there when you're not sure? Because every study I've seen flatly says you're not sure. You say you can't say yay or nay.
I think you have to consider the benefit that vaccines confer, and there's a definite benefit from influenza vaccine, and having an adequate supply of vaccine is very important.
Okay, well, let me follow up on that then. Single shot vials, does that need thimerosal?
No, they don't, but there
Well, then
are
why don't we have single shot
there are a
vials?
lot of manufacturing issues associated with switching over. You need much more filling capacity for the lines. You need a lot more other kinds of things that need to be introduced. So although it can be done, and both Evans and Aventis Pasteur have started to introduce that, it is not something that at present they have the capacity to do in entirety.
Let me ask you this. Do these pharmaceutical companies that produce these vaccines have had in the past the ability to produce, and have they produced single shot vials?
Yes, they do, because that's how Evans and Aventis Pasteur is doing it right
Well,
now.
how about all of the pharmaceutical companies? Do all the pharmaceutical companies pretty much have the ability to produce single shot vials?
You know, I couldn't speak to that categorically. I don't know, but I do know certainly in the case of Aventis Pasteur and Evans that they do have that ability because they are doing that.
Then why hasn't the FDA, to be on the safe side, knowing that we're having 1 in over 250 and in some cases 1 in 150 children becoming autistic, and there's a growing body of evidence that thimerosal and mercury is causing that, why wouldn't you go down the cautious road instead of coming up with these additional studies that say, well, we're not sure, we can't say yay or nay? Why not go to single shot vials?
Because we believe that the multi-dose vials continue to be safe and effective, and that they speak to having enough supply of influenza vaccine, which serves a very important public health
Let me just end up by
effort.
saying this. You know, I'm a student. I studied at the Cincinnati Bible Seminary. And I don't like to quote scripture very often, but there's none so blind as those that will not see. You just sit there and you keep saying over and over and over again that you think that there's not a real danger for having this mercury in these vaccines. There's been 1,500 plus articles written saying that there is a problem. We've got scientists from all over the world coming in here. You saw a demonstration from a Canadian tape showing the impact of a minute amount of mercury in brain cells, and yet you continue to say, well, we don't think that a very small amount of mercury, but you don't know because there's no study that you put out that I've seen, not one, that says categorically that mercury in vaccines does not cause neurological problems. You can't tell me that today. You've hedged all over that issue, and you guys just continue.
Mind you, these are people that represent different vaccines. This is always the reason. They can't prove why it's different lead, mercury, all these different metals in these different vaccines. And we're going to get into mothers. Now we're going to go to actual mothers who experienced this whole situation. Hold on, you guys. Let's take a trip over here. Actually, let's slow walk it. No. Actually, I do want to show this. I want to show this really quick. Well, Daniel would think she's a paid actor, but I'm going to play it anyway.
Told me it was safe and effective, and they would prevent blood clots immediately after fluid.
A shot. Listen to this mother's cry.
appeared in his brain, and they said it should go away. About when he became a year old, he started having seizures, and that's when they found out he had arrested hydrocephalus. And I put 2 and 2 together when I saw on the vitamin K box that it says can't affect the blood-brain barrier. And basically the heavy metals and the toxins in the vaccine made his head swell up really big, and his head is bigger than an adult, but it's arrested. So thankfully he doesn't need a shunt, but he's one of 6 children, the only one that got vitamin K, and he has permanent arrested hydrocephalus and epilepsy from the vitamin K shot.
But how long after was it that he had?
The fluid appeared on the brain immediately, and I had ultrasounds every single appointment up until he was born, and there was no fluid on his brain. He was perfectly fine, 9 pounds, 3 ounces. Immediately after he got the shot, fluid appeared on the brain. He had an ultrasound the day before I was induced, and there was no fluid in his brain. So there's no ifs and buts about it. That's the cause.
So that's the frustrating piece. Like, you give these compelling stories, but the problem is nobody from the pro-vaccine side is researching this. Like, this needs to be researched. Somebody needs to look into what happened and figure out, okay, if it is a vaccine reaction, how can we fix this? Or at least identify at-risk children genetically, whatever it may be, so this doesn't happen again. And so what I see is a vaccine program that is so pro-vaccine that they're not even willing to look into the science of these reactions, to at least acknowledge people on the other side and make them feel safe. The technology for vaccines is probably 60, 70 years old. Would you be putting your kids in a car from 60 years ago with no seatbelts? Well, that's what the vaccines are right now. And talking to people like Dr. Paul Offit, he agrees there needs to be technological evolution. I don't think the COVID vaccine was really it. There needs to be research into making vaccines safer to address these concerns. And that's where I think there's this big disconnect between the pro and anti-vaccine movements. We're not fighting against each other. We're fighting against this establishment that refuses to change anything. And so I'm here to try to tell everyone, pro and anti, let's get together and let's go after these people. Let's go after the pharmaceutical companies who refuse to change their formulations after 60 years. Let's go after the government who keeps buying their shitty vaccines so that they will be incentivized to make them better. We're all on the same side. We all want kids to be healthy, and this is how we do it. We fight together. We don't fight separate.
One of my children got the...
And mind you, that last clip that I just played, she was from the pharmaceutical companies. It's always the pharmaceutical companies pushing this big pharma and the government paying into it, the FDA.
This past week, I was involved in 4 cases of children who were perfectly normal in their development until they had their school-age shots at age 5, DPT, hepatitis vaccine, MMR, and within weeks, they were autistic. In my research, I've discovered that some children are protected if they have the lipid-soluble form of vitamin A that found from natural sources. However, the measles, mumps, rubella vaccine at 15 months of age depletes the body of all vitamin A. When they get the DPT the same day or several months later, many of these children disconnect. I have also discovered that the measles antibody that the body makes once they're exposed to the measles vaccine cross-reacts with intermediate filaments. Intermediate filaments are the glue that hold the cells that line the gut wall together. So when they get that MMR vaccine, they develop a leaky gut. The loss of the cell-to-cell connection also occurs in the blood-brain barrier and in the cells that surround the bile canicula where toxins are excreted from the body. What I'm treating these children with is the natural lipid-soluble form of vitamin A. I'm giving their recommended daily allowance only of vitamin A in the form of cod liver oil to bypass these blocked G protein pathways. In a few days, a lot of these children look at me, focus, they regain eye contact.
Now, Daniel, what I'm going to need you to do, Google Dr. Mary Megson, M-E-G-S-O-N. She's a pediatric physician. She specializes in developmental disorders. And you know what I'm saying? She's out of Richmond, VA. And yeah, she's been doing this work for decades. Now look her up.
After 2 months on this vitamin A treatment, I give them a single dose of a medicine called bethenacol, which stimulates pathways in the parasympathetic system in the gut. I give it to these children, and in the office sometimes 30 to 40 minutes after the initial dose. After having pathways corrected for several months on vitamin A, when I bring them in, give them this medicine, observe them.
You have to take your political ideologies out of it. Please do. Please do.
They connect in the office. I've had children look at me, talk, act out, talk back to their mother, use vocabulary above their chronological age. This is a disconnect. This past week, I was involved in 4 cases of children who were perfectly normal in their development until they had their school-age shots at age 5, DPT, hepatitis vaccine, MMR, and within weeks, they were autistic. In my research, I've discovered that some children are protected if they have.
Okay, now listen, y'all. This is a mother who has a child of autism. He's 20 years old. We're gonna get into her story in a minute. I want to look into this lady's story really quick. Just listen to her story. Listen to her story.
My son would have been a football player, and instead, he wears diapers. He uses a pacifier. He's nonverbal. He has extreme rages where I think he's in some kind of a pain, and no doctor will take him as a patient here in Las Vegas.
My son was healthy at birth. He was healthy.
Listen, you can't even hold yourself and compose yourself. You up here cussing in my chat under the sound of my voice. Now go fuck yourself and go play in traffic.
Had such a horrible bout of falls from the seizures that we were going to the emergency room so often. The doctor gave my husband a stapler and a staple remover to do it at home. I mean, is that better than a week of measles?
So at 18 months, he had already had his measles, mumps, rubella vaccine, at which point the damage became so apparent that Zachy just completely disappeared. He just left, and we were left with the shell that we're still dealing with.
Because of his constant seizures and having to check on him, or if I hear him get up, I know to run in there before he falls against the wall.
Where's he from?
I upstairs, I sleep upstairs. My husband and I don't even get to sleep in the same room anymore. You know, living in a 2-story house, in the mornings, I'm pretty much trapped. I have to stay up there until I know he's up and about and, you know, not gonna have one, because he's had far too many seizures on our stairs. And, you know, people say, well, you should move to a 1-story house. Well, you know, that, yeah, that'd be great. Who's gonna come renovate this house?
I pray that
my son
is able to look after their children even after they're gone, because they can't stay there forever. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think I can keep doing testing on these vaccine-injured kids, man.
What up, fly boy?
These parents bring these kids in that are rough and wanting blood work, you know, and you gotta pin these kids down, and like I just can't do it. We've started doing the illegal scan, right? So they can do a tissue scan. It's non-invasive. That's nice. You still get all your metals and minerals and stuff, but like aluminum every time, heavy metals every time. My heart broke today. I love my kids very much, and I'm very grateful for that. And I'm grateful to be able to.
And I've seen mothers, they're starting to detox their children with different herbs and cilantro and different detox baths. And I love it. I love it, because we do live in a world where we're just eating toxic foods all the time. Excuse me, y'all. I got a cough coming in. I don't know where it's coming from.
help some people that are just in a spot, but it was a tough day. Hug your kids. I don't think I can keep doing testing on these vaccine.
What do you mean by vaccine injured kids, though?
She had a seizure after she had a vaccine, and we lost everything. Like, that's when she stopped responding to her name. She stopped talking completely. She showed no interest in us. They basically told us that she would never talk. She'd probably never go to school, probably live with us the rest of her life. My husband and I drove home. We had a good cry, and we looked at each other and said, this isn't going to be her diagnosis. We're going to figure something out. We're getting to, like, she's 4 now. We're still not talking. Her vocal, like, stims and tics got worse. Her just being around family and not caring that anybody was there. She would just never sleep. We came for an intensive October for 2 weeks. We were a little frustrated at first because I feel like we'd go home and, I don't know, I think we thought it was going to be like miraculous healing right away, right? We're going to go home, she's going to talk. Dr. Crawford, her stims are worse, or like she's getting worse. And like, that's, we're changing her brain, it's okay. And then we went home, and that's when we like realized. We landed home on the plane, and she opened up the window and she goes, I see no snow, like a full sentence. We get off the plane, she's walking flat foot. She's always walked on her toes so high where her toes bleed. And she just all of a sudden started looking at things. Every day I feel like she's saying new words. She told us she loved us for the first time, put her to bed, like, good night, we love you. She popped up and goes, good night, I love you, amen. And like, just laid back down. That was the best thing we've ever heard, because you prayed five years to hear that one. I think like how much progress she's shown in 3 months, like there's hope. There's no stopping her. She had a seizure after she had a vaccine, and we lost everything. Like, that's when she stopped responding to her name. She stopped talking completely. She showed no interest in us. They basically told us that she would never talk. She'd probably never go to school, probably live with us the rest of her life. My husband and I drove home. We had a good cry, and we looked at each other and said, this isn't going to be her diagnosis. We're going to figure something out. We're getting to.
But I think that's what it takes. A resilient and consistent parent, because I know my brother is, and his lady. It's just, ooh, man, listen. But I want to take a trip down memory lane.
Parents of autistic children
They said this is autism in the 60s.
frequently suspect deafness in the early years and initially seek advice about this. Characteristically, these children respond selectively to sounds. Tom's hearing is normal, but he ignores the bell.
Oh, we can play on the big bass drums, and this is the...
I blocked them. I actually blocked them from YouTube this time. And my moderators, y'all know y'all got permission to block.
Parents of autistic children frequently suspect deafness in the early years and initially seek advice about this. Characteristically, these children respond selectively to sounds. Tom's hearing is normal, but he ignores the bell.
Oh, we can play on the big bass drums, and this is the way we do it.
Yet see how responsive he is to music.
And this is the way we do it. Oh, we can play on the...
Because normal socialization does not occur, the autistic child doesn't learn about living hazards. This light socket has in fact been disconnected, but Adam will put his finger into any available outlet. Surprisingly, these children rarely come to harm. It is parents and other adults who suffer anxiety because of their child's exploits. For years, Stephen has only eaten tinned chicken dinner, ice cream and lemonade. Efforts are being made here to change his abnormal diet, but he would rather go without than even try the strange new food.
They're very consistent.
The child's resistance is to variety in his routine. That is, anything immediately affecting his person. Stephen only uses squeals, which indicate anger or displeasure, but he communicates very effectively with gesture, as here, with his mother and normal children.
Oh, I just thought about it. Helen Keller, they just considered her deaf, dumb, and blind. They didn't consider her autistic, and she would fit the description of being autistic. But look, she was able to learn with people who were diligent and just consistent with helping her learn. Have y'all remember the story about Helen Keller, right?
Right? You got up, guys. Okay.
The child may wake and play for hours in the night, yet be full of energy the next day. His mother will often describe him as always on the go, constantly engaged in restless, diffuse action. Ted would run like this for hours on end, even if there were other people all around him.
No, you good.
Parents of autism.
You are absolutely good, Universal Team Marie. Stand your ground. Stand your ground. Let's take a look right here.
Oh, what?
They said police detected 50% of sudden infant deaths happen within 48 hours of vaccination, but no one is allowed to say it. In the interview with Steve Kirsch, a former police detective, claimed that about half of the sudden infant deaths cases she investigated showed the child had received a vaccination in the previous 48 hours, but coroners never mentioned vaccines on the death certificates. And doctors have been trained to gaslight parents, she claimed. Can y'all believe it? Can y'all believe it? I don't know why y'all think black women don't have it right. I swear, I think I got a few new people came here from my shorts, Universal T, and now they up here political masturbators.
What? Wait! Huh? Girl. Oh, what?
Can you believe it? And this is not a conspiracy theorist, and not a crazy anti-vaxxer. Says that 50% of SIDs cases she investigated, SIDS, cases involved the baby receiving a vaccine. It's just a lot to be hitting these babies with, and I think she explained it the best. And we still love, and we're not trying to stigmatize autistic kids. We love
a child born in a hospital in the United States today, within an hours of coming from source into this, into this body, the first thing that happens to them is pharmaceutical intervention without really asking, there's barely informed consent about this. That child's eyes are smeared with erythromycin ointment and they're given a hepatitis B vaccine in their first day of life. And the Hep B vaccine is for hepatitis B, which is a sexually transmitted disease and IV drug user disease, of course, which babies are not going to be exposed to. And yet every single baby in America is getting the intervention. So from literally the day we are born, we're on this treadmill.
So, why not test the pregnant mother for those?
They do.
Okay, so
they give it to the women who, even if they have tested negative,
which
they
should
give it
be
to
the
babies.
overwhelming majority.
Absolutely.
So I don't understand, why would you treat a child on his first day of life for illnesses for a fact he doesn't have, it isn't going to get?
So a child's born, let's just take the side. The child's born. Hep B is spread by two routes: sexually transmitted disease or intravenous needles. So my 1-day-old isn't going to be having sex or doing heroin right away. So what's the purpose of getting this on the schedule in the first day of life, the first hours of life?
What's the purpose?
And if you push, and I welcome anyone to do this with their doctor, you get to two things. You get to the American patients are too stupid to remember, so we need to do it right away. That's literally like what they say. And then my doctor told me that the child at daycare could trip over a needle that has hepatitis B on it. That's literally what they get to. That a needle could be on the playground, that somebody just did heroin or something, threw the needle down, and it has hepatitis B blood on it. I asked the doctor, has there ever been in human history a case of hepatitis B being transferred that way? They said no. It's only through intravenous needles and sex. So you actually, to steel man this, and again, welcome anyone to respond, there's not actually a scenario, absent of intravenous needles or sex, that a person gets hepatitis B. There is not a reason for this to be given.
A child born in a hospital in the United States today, within an hour.
It's just a setup from the beginning. And we cannot put anything past these governments, these healthcare officials, because it's all about the money, 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 money.
I don't know what happened in 1990. There was no plague that was killing children, that we had triple the amount of vaccines.
What happened after 1989?
And why did they
That warranted 26 more vaccines.
Agreed.
Are all of them absolutely necessary?
Because they want to make money.
Of course.
It's twice as many as anywhere else in 30 countries in the Western world. But we give twice as many shots as any of those countries. Why is that?
Well, what are you against? Don't vaccinate for this, but vaccinate for that?
Yes.
I think we have to choose which ones are absolutely necessary.
You should educate yourself. We want to empower parents to educate themselves. Do we need to have the chickenpox? Do we need the hepatitis B shot on the second day of life?
I don't think we can afford to assume that the people who are charged with our public health any longer have our best interest at heart all the time. Parents have to make their own decisions, educated decisions. They have to look at the information.
Space out the vaccines, delay them till after 1, clean out the toxins that are in them. We don't need that many.
Why would a doctor not want to know more about something that could save a life or prevent a disease? I don't understand.
The AAP is financed by the drug companies. Medical schools are financed by the drug companies. This is a huge business. Vaccines are the largest growing division of the pharmaceutical industry. $13 billion.
They control medical schools.
What we're asking is for them to take a loss for the good of our children. That's a tough sell in a boardroom.
I don't know what happened in 1990. There was no plague that was killing children, that we had triple the amount of vaccines.
What happened after 1989?
Why did they triple?
But don't they test you for that? Don't they test the parents for that? So why would it still be necessary?
There hasn't always been this much joy in Mason Connor's world.
Should we go on the boat? Oh, and this is like a very this is very amazing, because this is not always the case. But when you detox and do things right, shout out to these parents. Shout out.
His mom Caroline's concerns began around his first birthday.
He wasn't talking, no language.
Their pediatrician didn't seem worried.
I think he just thought he was a boy and he would develop and everything would be fine. But no, at 2.5, he was diagnosed with autism.
The Connors went on a mission, searching for anything that would help Mason.
We just started researching on our own. And that's when my husband Joe came across Dr. Fry and a research study that he was doing.
Child neurologist Richard Fry is one of many doctors searching for treatments that can help kids with autism.
Now we have 3 stations set up.
He's studying leucovorin, an inexpensive generic drug derived from the vitamin folic acid. It's currently prescribed to ease side effects from cancer chemotherapy.
It could really have a substantial impact on a very good percentage of children with autism.
In some kids, folic acid, essential for brain development, can't get in. Leucovorin bypasses that blockage and can help some autistic kids improve their ability to speak. Blast off, yes, a rocket ship. Mason's first words came just 3 days after he started taking leucovorin at the age of 3. The baby was purple. Currently, doctors can only prescribe leucovorin for autism off-label, which means repurposing a drug approved for one condition to treat another.
We've done the science, and the next step is that we want to get more funding so we can actually get it FDA approved.
But there's one big problem. Why haven't pharmaceutical companies invested in clinical trials to study leucovorin to treat autism?
Leucovorin's an old drug, and you can get it for a very low price. So nobody is going to make a lot of money on it. So there's no reason for them to invest.
But there is a reason that 20 to 30% of all prescriptions in this country are off-label. That's because there are more than 14,000 known human diseases with no FDA-approved treatment. Mason is 5 now, and the plan is to start mainstream kindergarten in the fall. Help toward a new path by an old medicine. For Eye on America.
Oh, you got me.
I'm Dr. Celine Gounder in Phoenix. There hasn't always...
Thank you. Kimmy Shea says most pregnant women having babies are not affected with the Hep B, and they test women before labor, so there's almost zero risk to the baby. It's $1 billion money maker for pharma. Yeah, basically. Basically. And it's just it's a money maker, and it's a lot of moving parts with this situation. I don't want to over talk, and I don't want to under talk, but I just, wow. Let's look at this video really quick.
The other point is with the autism, do you know there's a group of people in America, about 2% autism, and that's the Amish. And the Amish don't vaccinate. But I agree with you. In fact, I have learned, if I've learned anything in my many years on this planet, is never to be absolute.
Right.
But in the majority of cases, it does point to the vaccines because of the neurotoxins, the formaldehyde, the aluminium, but the blue light coming from the screens. You see it in the airport all the time. Mother feeding a baby, the phone's in the other hand. I say, Mother, put the phone down and look at that beautiful baby.
Right.
And also the formulas, you know, the formulas are formulated in a laboratory.
Right.
Yeah, not the best for babies.
You know, it's I talk commonly about seed oils, and not in an attempt to attack the plant, but usually it's the distance from the plant.
Oh, it's the distance from the plant. And I have stopped calling myself a vegan because plant seed oils are vegan. Chemicals are vegan. Refined sugars vegan. The other point is with the autism, do you know there's a group of people in America, about
Let's take a look.
Are vaccinated or unvaccinated children healthier? From 2017 to 2020, the Henry Ford Medical System did a study with 30,000 children, and this is what they found. Overall, chronic health conditions were 2.5 times higher in the vaccinated group, where asthma was 4 times higher for children that were vaccinated. And when you look at brain dysfunction, diabetes, ADHD, behavioral disabilities, learning disabilities, intellectual disabilities, tics, and other psychological disabilities, there were 0 cases in the unvaccinated children. This study looked at the health records of 30,000 children, 26,000 were vaccinated, and only 4,000 were unvaccinated. This study was never published because the scientists involved were afraid of professional repercussions from what the data showed. And because it was never peer-reviewed, other scientists are saying that this isn't good science. They're also saying that the unvaccinated group was too small, that the statistics are shaky, and only partial data has been shared. While other scientists are calling these outcomes a smoking gun, calling for more studies to be done. As always, I want to hear what you think about all of this down below. Are vaccinated or unvaccinated children?
What do you guys think? What do you guys think? And then there's cases when
it started with him rattling his alphabets backwards. Just sound like gibberish, and then I made out EDCVA, and I said, he's saying his alphabets backwards, and so I knew then he had a gift. What's 13 times 13 times 13?
2,197.
I don't know if he really understands what Mensa means right now. I think he will in time, but he understands that, you know, he's capable of learning a lot.
It started with him rattling his alphabets backwards. Just sound like gibberish, and then I made out EDCVA, and I said, he's saying his alphabets backwards, and so I I knew then he had a gift.
What's 13 times 13 times 13?
2,197.
I don't know if he really understands what Mensa means right now. I think he will in time.
And I just think that the brain is just such an untapped vessel that the people want to put these different stigmas on and then give medicine on. Because I'm going to stand by Dr. Umar. I'm going to definitely stand by Dr. Umar on this specific point where he says that these kids are getting diagnosed too early, because he is a clinical psychologist. I'm not going to take that from him. I'm not going to take that from him. Let's take a quick little listen right quick, and then we're going to listen to a mother firsthand of 20 years taking care of her autistic child. Let's take a quick look.
Is the less likely you should be getting them evaluated. The younger the child, quick points for our parents. Number one, the younger your child is, the less likely you should be getting them evaluated. The younger the child, Charlemagne, the more likely we may misdiagnose. 3 years old is too young for autism evaluation. 4 years old is too young for ADHD. 5 years old is too young for a reading disability. The younger the child, the less items we can ask them anyway, because they're so young. So you don't get a good read. I need black parents to slow down, and my Afro-Latino parents, slow down. Stop getting your children evaluated so quickly. The school wants them tested quickly, Envy and Charlemagne. Why? Because special ed begins at age 3, which means they can start getting the money at age 3. Special ed is age 3 to 21. So when your child goes to preschool and they're not talking too good and not walking too good, first thing they want to do is get an eval. Slow down. Give my child a chance to show me what he can do. Because if you go looking for an evaluation, you're going to get a diagnosis, because that's how they get paid, by giving out the diagnosis. Notorious B.I.G. said what? More money, more problems? Well, in the world of mental health, more problems, more money. So slow down on the eval. Number 2, do not get your child evaluated for ADHD, conduct disorder, ODD, emotional disturbance, or intermittent explosive disorder. I'm going to say it again. If you're black, do not get your child evaluated for ADHD, conduct disorder, emotional disturbance, intermittent explosive disorder, because it only leads to what? Medication. America has no answer for a black or Afro-Latino kid diagnosed with one of them syndromes. They're going to put them on drugs. And if you decide to discontinue the medication, Child Protective Services will be called and they will confiscate your children. It's called medical neglect, and it's one of the fastest reasons black parents are losing their children to foster care. If you don't plan to drug them up, and you shouldn't want to anyway, do not get them evaluated. If you think they too hyper, go to the health store. There's all kind of herbal.
This is definitely true. This is definitely true, because they happened firsthand to my brother. He had an IEP, and they used to give him that Ritalin. Boy, and that Ritalin, it had an effect on him that just was not good. Wasn't good. No, it wasn't.
Concoctions you can put under the tongue. There's a product called Calm Child. There's a product called Be Calm. There's a product called Melissa Supreme, where they take herbs that calm down the central nervous system. But guess what? The herbs are not even going to work if he's a regular, normal, healthy boy, and you're not giving him enough opportunity to release his natural testosterone. A big problem with all of this is boys need to move around. In fact, the research even shows boys learn better, Envy and Charlemagne, when they move. So why are they still sitting still for 8 hours when the research says, the neuroscience says boys learn better when they move? Because the teachers, the Caucasian nation, the teachers that run the school, they don't want to move them. They want to sit in that chair because it makes their job easier. So a lot of times this is not an ADHD problem. It's an ain't no daddy at home disorder problem. It's an artificial diet at home disorder problem. Okay, it is it's an attachment disruption due to home life dysfunction problem as well. That's number 2. Third, and my final one. If you don't understand the paperwork, call me. Parents are signing off on evaluations they didn't read. They signing off on diagnoses they don't agree with. If you don't think your child is retarded, why did you sign? If you don't think they need special ed, why did you sign? Stop signing paperwork you don't agree with and you don't understand. That's what Dr. Umar is here. I will make time to look at your paperwork. Stop signing, because they signing our kids away into full-time special ed and they don't even realize it. And you got to go to these IEP meetings. If you're going to put your child in special ed, take care of your child. I got black parents put their kids in special ed, white ones too, but I'm talking about our community, put their kids in special ed and never go to an IEP meeting for 12 years. Now he's about to graduate, Charlemagne, guess what? He can't read. And now you're upset at the school district. He can't read. How many IEP meetings you went to since you put him in special ed? First of all, he should have never been in special ed in the first grade because he's too young for special ed. But if you're going to do it, at least look out for the child. We got to do a better job of protecting our kids from the special education to prison pipeline. Because when I go speak in these jails, and I speak regularly in the prisons, I always ask the inmates to raise your hand. How many of you was in special ed? Damn near every hand go up. Black, white, brown, yellow, and white. Every hand goes up just about. You see what I'm saying? Special ed.
The school to prison pipeline is real.
Causes more problems than it solves. Most of our kids just need a tutor. To that point, how many of our kids are reading books this summer? How many of our kids are going to the black bookstores this summer? How many of our kids are being taken to the public library this summer to read something? Most of them are not. They on this right here. This is destroying academic excellence in the black community. This. And for my black fathers out there, I know your son want to be a basketball player. I know you want him to be a football player. But he can't read on grade level. What is he doing in AAU? If he can't count on grade level, what is he doing in the summer league? You mean you care more about your son being a good football player, a basketball player, than a productive adult? Half the black boys in America in 4th grade can't read on their grade level. Half the black boys in America in the 8th grade can't count on their grade level. But yet we pushing football. There should be no video game in your house, no cell phone in your house, and nobody should be in no summer league if they can't read and count on grade level. We got to get back to black excellence.
There you have it.
I so agree. Fendi facts. I love this lady. She breaks down the autism struggle. So what? I don't want to say struggle, but the autism journey so well. Her name is T4 Autism. Well, her name is T4 Autism. Her son's name is Thomas, and her channel page is called T4 Autism. It's an amazing channel that she does. Let me go to the video that I seen where she broke some things down. She really broke some things down. And let's look into it. I'm gonna read some of the comments because some of the comments was I think it's necessary to read. Let's get into it.
It's historic, and he wasn't lying. OMG. President Donald J. Trump, this woman salutes you. I've been waiting 20 years, and when you said today, these guys behind me are different, finally. And I mean, you understand the assignment, the way you explain everything when it comes to profound autism. Oh my goodness, how you said it's common sense, and how you guys said by the end of the year. I'm just so grateful. Okay, this is about children, this is about adults, and my son Thomas, yes, Thomas, T4 Autism, we are absolutely elated. We are coming up for air. We are being seen. And we are so grateful. God bless you for this. He said it's historic.
Now she says in her post, she says, I have not looked at the Tylenol study, but I do have 20 years of experience studying what their vaccines did. I love intelligent dialogue. What I have zero patience for is name calling and profanity. We are trying to do something historical here. Insults and personal attacks on mothers and families in this comment section will not be tolerated. Let's be respectful. Adults love our children. Adults who love our children. It is not right to call someone a liar, an idiot, or to degrade them because of their personal family experience. What I truly appreciate is that in this space, we have people who agree and disagree, yet still with respect. That's what we need to get back to. You do not have to agree with me, but you will respect my views. Calling me an idiot or saying I'm not a good mom, it's not going to happen. Facts. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I want to go to one of these responses. Someone said, Tylenol did not make my son have autism or vaccines or muscular dystrophy, but cutting his Medicaid and funding will really hurt him. See, I have worked hard all my life and paid my taxes and followed the laws of the land, only to live in fear that for my child and other children like him won't be able to receive services that I've paid into in the future. You see that? You see that? He is doing a lot of cuts and making it hard for people to get their medicine. I completely forgot about that. What are y'all thoughts in the chat? And people could get genetic panels. That's the thing. I'm sure she got a genetic panel. Let's just look at a few other of other of her videos. I love it. I love her videos.
Now that profound autism is on everybody's lips, what are we gonna do? Here we go. Say legislation. Woo! That's the word. Legislators, we are now asking you to pass legislation for families with profound autism. Increase the wages of those that work in group homes. Yes, HCS list in Texas, let's do away with that. Thomas was number 46,200, and he's 20 years old. He's been on that list for over 14 years. Let's make new laws. Let's protect this group. Let's calm the fears of the profound autistic community that's scared about a registry, that's scared about a camp, a concentration camp. Let's head on calm the fears of the parents. They're excited, but they're scared, and they have questions. But you know what? We are talking about profound autism, finally. So let's answer the call. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? Yes, genetics. Yes, vaccines. Yes, environment. Okay? Let's have a civilized conversation. No attacks, no personal attacks. If a mother, if she said that's what happened, how dare anybody challenge what that mother is saying? How dare you? Shame on you. That is her experience. Some people taste the lemon and they say it's sour. Some people say it's sweet. Some people can eat peanuts all day. Other people have a peanut allergy. Okay? Common sense. But let's not get lost in a debate. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? I met with the mayor of my city last week. I told her it's a crisis. What are we gonna do? And thank God, yes, yesterday was historical. And our president said things
Thank you.
that absolutely needed to be said in regards to profound autism. Tylenol, I haven't even heard of that, but you know what? I'm now gonna research that. Guys, you do the research. Quit, we're not gonna argue.
This is a very broad scale. Autism is a very broad scale of autism, of a disorder, excuse me. And let's just take a listen. She said she believes it's the vaccines. And this mother, she's been doing it for 20 years. She's been doing it for 20 years.
Hi. Hey.
Look at Pop.
Hey.
Pops.
Happy Thursday, Cubby.
But what I love about autistic individuals, and this is nothing but the genetics of the Most High. You're able to communicate with an individual without using verbal communication. It's other ways to communicate. Verbal dialogue. It's other ways to communicate with your loved one other than verbal dialogue. It's just beautiful. His body language, touch, it's just amazing. The Most High is amazing.
Yeah, okay. You were up till like 4 in the morning. 4 in the morning. So you thirsty? Water? Okay, all right. Yeah, I got it. You know I got it. It's all ready for you. There you go. How was everything today? You want me to take off is that how you were wearing your headphones? Okay. Yeah. All right.
The headphones be helping when it gets a little too loud in different areas.
I'll take that. Thank you.
You're overstimulated.
We miss you. Hello.
People who have autism.
Hello.
Some have to wear.
All right, you ready for dinner?
Some don't.
We got spinach, chicken nuggets, and toast.
I'm telling you, my nephew loves him some chicken nuggets too. Look, this is lady. This is lady friend. This is lady friend. It's so beautiful. Well, let's take a listen.
I believe it was the vaccinations. Not Tylenol. Not in my situation. Vaccinations. 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 Thomas, stop. Okay. So that's what I believe. Let's not lose each other in this.
Let's not.
Profound autism is finally being talked about on a world stage, and we're throwing a fit.
Daniel, get yourself together.
We love you, aunties and uncles.
Yes, we do.
Those that left could not stay, and those that stayed could not leave. And that's how I feel about it. Vaccinations, not Tylenol. God bless you guys in Jesus' name. It was a historic day, and that's how I feel. Amen. Guys,
she said a word. I think it's all in the timing. I think it's all in the timing. Shout out to all the autism parents out there, all of those individuals who are keeping their head above water and taking it day by day. I love you. I see you. You are seen. You are heard. Y'all throw those puzzle pieces in the chat for the autism community and autistic community. The goddamn autism community and autistic parents. Autism parents, Lord, I'm getting it confused. It's time for me to exit. I got to go, y'all. I love y'all. I just want to come to y'all, do this quick little live. This was just what I could do, and to just bring my clarity. I think clarity was cultivated on tonight. Y'all think so? Kids got the chicken pox back in the day before the vaccine came out. Now you don't see the chicken pox. Weird. Right. Universal T. This is facts. And remember, I forgot, because my mom said she had it. And I don't know, she said it was she had like a little birthmark from it. But yeah, you don't never hear that anymore. That's right. Puzzle pieces in the chat for the autism community. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for rocking with me. You are appreciated. It's greatly appreciated for y'all being here. Shout out to the autism community once again. And with that being said, I'm gone. Peace. And I'm gonna put this. Wait a minute, we can't leave without the cash app now. Hold on, we're gonna put the cash there. Thank you for the cash apps in advance. That's $ God Kids 781, and that is greatly appreciated. Thank you all. Thank you all. The cultivator is gone. Peace.
to himself be true. Never let anyone change your point of view unless what he brings makes sense to you. You should never judge him by sight alone or by the height that he has grown. And when you're speaking, always keep a moderate tone, because raised voices, they turn hearts to stone. See, from the beginning, it was brother kill brother. The morals in life, live, love, and respect one another. But then there are those, they'll always try to be smart. They'll take a decent man and then they'll alter his heart until he seeks to tear them apart. These men, no man should call friends. They bend lies around truths until they meet their end.